Hi, mamas. All right, we are back for week 3 of your Body Back program, and I am so excited just kind of seeing how everyone's been doing with uh, designing your plate and meal planning. Just remember, this is not something we are going to master in this short little time together. I am still working on this stuff, and I've been doing it for years now. So, just remember, you're going to mold it into what it looks like for you and your family. So keep at that. Today, we're going to talk about carbohydrates. So this word tends to scare people. We've been told that high carb diets yield weight gain. And yes, if all you're doing is eating refined carbs, then you will gain weight. But carbs are actually your body's main source of energy for all your functions, including digestion, assimilation of food, and muscular activity. They're actually needed in the largest quantity of all the nutrients required by the body. The trick is consuming the right kind. So, because it is your body's preferred source of energy, just think when you are tired and cranky, what do you feel like having? Crackers, right? Carbs, something that's going to be energy, preferred energy, quick energy for your body. All right, so there are 3 types of carbs. There are simple sugars, there are starches, which are also called complex carbs, and then there's cellulose. So we're going to go through and talk about all of those. Turn my phone off for you. Okay, simple sugars are really what they sound like. They raise your blood sugar quickly, but not very long lasting. Think of candy, soft drinks, donuts, bagels, French toast, yum, all that good stuff. Fruit is also a simple sugar, but they are going to actually provide you with some essential vitamins and minerals along with fiber, which are good things, in conjunction with that simple sugar part. So fruit, you hear in some diets, people will tell you to completely eliminate. I think there are too many beneficial things in fruit. It's just something you want to be mindful of. You don't want to sit there and eat a whole carton of strawberries, even though I could, or else you're going to have that quick buildup of energy just like candy and then the letdown. Okay, so starches are your more complex chains of sugars, which is why they're called complex carbs. They take longer to break down because they're a more complex chain. This allows the body adequate time to absorb the range of nutrients in these unprocessed foods. So your blood sugar is really going to remain pretty stable for longer than the simple sugars. Cellulose is your 3rd type of carb. That's going to be the indigestible parts of fruit and veggies that give us the fiber that we need to literally eliminate daily. And if you're not eliminating daily, that is a problem. That's something you want to work on. And we can certainly discuss that this week in the Facebook group, just techniques, things you can do. If you're eating more things like celery strings, apple peels, flaxseed, I know this is disgusting, but I love pumpkin seeds. Have you ever eaten the pumpkin seed and then seen it in your poop later? We're all moms, so we talk about poop. That is the cellulose right there. It just goes straight through you, but what it does, even though you're not really getting the nutrients from a lot of those, it's helping push things through your system that you don't want to keep there. So if you don't eat enough carbs, your body is actually going to start to use protein and fat for energy, and this is referred to as a ketogenic diet. You may have heard of that before. This can be a good short-term diet to shed a few pounds. I've also heard ketogenic diets for cancer patients to not eliminate, but to stop the growth of tumors. So there are benefits to this. But what's going to happen if you stay on this long term is your body is actually going to start producing a harmful chemical called ketones. So ketogenic diet ketones. In addition, a low-carb diet can decrease the amount of intestinal bacteria in your gut, which we are going to talk about when we do healthy gut. And basically, just a quick and dirty intro to that is we have so much bacteria in our gut that's helping us do all our body functions. We don't want to get rid of them. We want to keep them there. So they feed off of these carbs. So we need to give them adequate amount in order to feed them. If you're pregnant or you're nursing, you really need to have your diet composed of 50% of carbs. If you aren't in those situations, I never really advocate for measuring things, but again, since you are new into this, I would definitely take this week and just kind of see how many carbs are you actually eating. So if you're not pregnant or nursing, measure your carbs after they're cooked and think about a range of about a fourth cup to 1 cup per meal as your total quantity. Now I know that's a big range, but things like nuts, beans that are smaller, that's going to be a fourth a cup because you can pack them in tighter. But things like sweet potatoes, root vegetables, those are going to be bigger. They'll need that cup. So I recommend a fourth a cup for those non-veggie carbs like I talked about, and a cup for veggie carbs. That's what I just said. All right, so during these times when you're less active or you're trying harder for weight loss, I want you to stay on the lower end of this scale. So maybe stay on that fourth a cup, maybe half a cup for those veggies. But I want you to know that going lower in this point is not always better. So you just want to do that if you're really trying to get past a plateau or if you're in a time in your life where you just cannot be as active. If you suffer from fatigue, you have trouble sleeping at night, I would recommend going lower carb in the morning and higher in carb intake at night, so right before bed. Because studies have shown that higher carb meals will shut down the production of cortisol. And cortisol is a hormone that is highest in the morning because that revs you up and gets you your energy, but it dives down at nighttime. So you don't want it to amp up at night. So that's going to allow you to sleep better. All right, so now we've talked about like what the different types are, about how much you should have, the timing of them if you have sleeping issues. So what carbs are the healthiest? My favorite carbs are going to be vegetable carbs. Think those root vegetables, beets, parsnips, turnips, rutabagas, legumes like lentils, black beans, chickpeas. Grain carbs, as long as you're not celiac, are also great. Remember I said I don't promote specific diets. I think grains can be healthy when you get the right kind. Which we can certainly have a dialogue this week about breads and things like that. They are not going to be as nutrient dense as your vegetable carbs, but things like quinoa, buckwheat, black rice, those are some other grain carbs that you can fit into your diet. All right, so your homework for the week is to actually take out that measuring cup and see how many carbs you are eating at each meal. Some things are carbs and proteins. Not everything's black and white. Hello, this is life. Like beans and nuts. But just measure the total amount you have at each meal. Are you above that 1/4 for the smaller things or 1 cup for the bigger things? Are you forgetting carbs altogether because you've been so afraid of them? If you want to, you can multiply your weight by 0.36 and you can see how close you are to that range. So if you have things in package and you can say, okay, I ate 1 cup of this, that's, 20 grams of carbs. You want to see 0.36 times your weight. That's your total daily intake. Now, I say that lightly because that is just a generic rule for people. Obviously, the more active, pregnant, nursing, you're going to need a little bit more. But it's just interesting to kind of see if you're in that range. So I want you to share these on Facebook, and I want you to realize that carbs can be your friend. If you're staying away from them, you are causing your body more harm than help, especially with hormone production. With women, we need our hormones to be as in line as they can, trust me. So post on Facebook group and let's see what kind of new carbs and healthier carbs we can get into your diet this week. All right, y'all have a great week, and I will be popping in on Facebook, and I'll see you next Sunday.